So we're about 7 after. We've got a healthy set of us on the call. We've got, I don't know, 10 or more open PRs on the Layer5 repo, which is generally in reference to layer5.io. And so we'll talk about the new learning path section for sure. But there's also some open PRs that we should chat through verbally. It helps. And yeah, we've got, well, we've probably got kind of a set of discussions around maintenance not for all of the sites. There's a few different maintenance items. So that'll be a topic. Sites.
Could I just ask a quick question before we begin?
Yeah, please.
So I took the issue of making the email template for discuss, but there aren't any designs. So what, am I just supposed to, like, can I go crazy with it? Like do whatever I want?
Yeah, that's great. Oh, for the discuss.
There's no template for it, and I don't even know what the content is going to be. So
right. Yeah, that's a great topic. We should absolutely have that down. You know what is, what's the most tempting thing to do is always to start addressing the topic right then and there. And then turns out we end up covering it anyway. And so, yeah, that's a great topic. If you don't mind dropping it down below, that would be great.
Yep, I'll do that right.
Is Sayatan on the call? Yeah, he is, right? No. Yeah, he is. Okay, good. Just in standby mode today. I get it. It's Monday. I mean, this is my first cup right here, so it's, all right. Aren't you? Akshat, Nima, welcome. And Ashani Dada, welcome. Oh, Gulam Yazdani. Also,
thank you, Lee.
Yeah, brave you individuals I was going to say, like gentlemen or ladies, but it's not always obvious to me which is a masculine name and which was do you, each of the three of you mind just saying hi and doing a quick introduction, just letting everybody get to know you?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Akshat Neemam. Should I switch on my camera also?
Oh, please. Yeah, absolutely. Like always.
Thank you.
Also, just while we're getting to know each other, there's another question that people ask a lot, which is like, can I share? And it's like perpetually and resoundingly, yes, please share. So anyway, just.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Akshat Neema. I am from CSC second year student from IIIT Jabalpur, and I am recently joined this Layers5 community, and I'm actually under the issue that to fix the UI design of that meshry.io website. I'm under that issue.
Nice. All right. Akshat, nice to meet you. Thanks for introducing. Thanks for flipping on your camera. We've got people, here, even meshmates that are here, people who've been here a long time who are too timid to turn on their camera. So I mean, you're already doing better than most of them.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, great. All right, good.
Hi everyone, I'm Ovishani. I've just recently joined this thing, and I don't know much about the things going on, and I'm not even aware of the things really like much about different languages or something, but I have joined this mainly to learn and to like gain experience. And apart from that, I'm like kind of excited to know how things work because I don't have any such experience. So yeah, that's it.
Ashani, very, very good. All right. Well, I dare say that you're in the right place. There is, so it's good of you to jump onto this call and good of you to turn on webcam, introduce and stuff. Again, like webcams are highly welcomed, for all of the rest of you too timid to do it. So, but Ashani, also, I'll note that you are more than welcome on any of the other calls. And you're also, there's one call in particular that sounds like, well, we certainly encourage anyone to join anytime, especially if you're relatively new to the community. There's a newcomers call on Thursdays.
Yeah, I know. I'll try to join for sure.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay. And then Gulam.
Hello.
There he is.
Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Uh-huh. You are.
Okay. So hello, my name is Gulam Nistani, and Anshu has introduced Layer5 to me, and we were working on an issue of UI modifications. So yeah, that's why I joined this community, and it's really great to meet you all.
Very nice to meet you, Gulam. It's good of you to jump in. That's great. We'll forgive you your association to Anshu. That's we'll look past that. By the way, so if it isn't obvious by now, there's just a lot of sarcasm that flows across the microphone. And by the way, if I'm dishing it out, like, you know, it's fair game to dish it back. So we're good. Okay, so Vinayak is with us as well. All right. Well, we've got, it's very nice to see some new faces. We've got a few topics lined up. I don't think in any particular order, but ballroom, we talked about, you might be the lucky winner in terms of first at bat. We talked about this a little bit last time. But have there been changes here or anything that we want to discuss?
A bit of changes that I made, that in subscribe form, I changed the tagline that, you know, subscribe messy and stay messy. I changed that one. And I also changed something in mailing list also. And apart from that, I also made a page that you told to move to Layer5, that one. And I'm also replicating that menu navigation door also. It's almost replicated.
Oh, very good. Would you like to share your screen to show people?
Yeah, sure.
those? Okay. Great.
Give me a minute. Yes. Okay. I think there's some problem with my laptop here. A considerable amount of problem. My Figma is just stuck. I don't know how.
Oh yeah. No, are you you're using the desktop app, right?
Yes, I'm using desktop. Yes.
By the way, just in case anyone is having trouble with Figma files in their web browser, I have trouble with them as well. It'll crash my web browser. So I have to use the desktop app.
Sometimes, yeah, whenever I'm using these files, so my Figma crashes mostly. I don't know how it's happening first time, but it's crashing.
Oh,
It's taking too much time to load. Okay, can I do it afterwards? Till then, we can proceed in further meetings.
yep. Yeah,
Because it's taking time.
Sure. Yeah, sounds good. As a matter of fact, I'll bring it up here, and maybe you can point me in the right direction. So by the way, there's enough people new to the community that it probably makes sense to just say very briefly that we end up using Figma for doing UI design, mock-ups and some trying to get the right user experience. There's two design files here and here. One dedicated to Meshry as a project, and the other one dedicated to, I guess, all the other projects. So Ballroom, of some of the updates that you were doing, you had just said that you had updated a subscription. Was it on the subscription form on Meshery.io?
Yes, yes, I have made that update. You told to update the tagline, subscribe Messi dot say Messi. So
Oh, yeah.
I just reorganized that and I made some changes in that because subscribe is repeated 2 times and that is over repetitive or overflow of the information. So I just made a change. And can you give me a second? My internet is a bit slow and I can't see your screen.
Oh, okay. You know what? Then that's not okay. Yep. Yeah. Let's circle back. If you can't see my screen, then we're dead in the water. So, very good. We'll come back. Oh, Mr. Sharma. Nikhil Sharma has made any number of waves or any number of updates to Meshery.io. And so Nikhil, Nikhil, maybe you can take us through a couple of them. I think you have a few that are under review. And I'll say, I appreciate, Nikhil, the way that you'll go attack the problem, even without designs. Some of you are just gifted in both ways, able to design and implement. So,
yeah, like recently I've been working on service mesh website, but as for the Messi.io, I think Jay told me like, let's wait for the design from Balram and then we will change it, make changes the implement. So I'm just waiting for Balram to, so, like we can all agree on a single UI and I will make those changes in the Messi.io website.
makes sense. Yeah. There were a couple of things that were smaller that you had knocked out. Some on the features page in particular. So,
yes, like some responsive issues.
So just as a quick orientation for some of the rest of us in the Layer5 community, there are, I'm not sure how many, there's a number of projects. And each of the projects get their own websites. And so there's a number of websites and some of them have their own documentation sites. And so there's a number of websites. There's a lot of them run on, they're all static websites. Some use Jekyll as a framework. Some use Gatsby.js as a framework. One of the meshmate Adi had desired to move the documentation for Meshery from Jekyll to Docusaurus. He ended up getting busy on a bunch of other things in the community. And so we didn't take that step, but so to date, it's just Jekyll and Gatsby. And then Meshery's UI, this UI right here, that the screenshot, this is React.js material UI. But I was just going to bring up the fact that Nikhil Sharma had done a few things. One is the features here, which looks a lot better than it did when I had touched it. Now that Nikhil Sharma has touched it, it looks quite better. There's a couple of things I want to talk about with everybody, if we can, and if you can all think about this a little bit, your suggestions. I'm going to mention these because your suggestions are very much needed. So if some of you are coming to look at this project Meshery for the first time, and whether it's your first time or not, if we take a look at this tool, if you're going to go grab a piece of software and try to use it, you have a lot of choices out there generally for what software you want to use. And anytime you go, Leonard, it's nice to have you on the call. As a matter of fact, you have an agenda item. But Leonard, I'm gonna mute you for just a moment, just because there's feedback on the line, but feel free to unmute as and when. Yeah. So everybody has choice of what software they want to use. And the more pieces of software and more projects like this, the lazier that people get, and myself included, very lazy, very lazy. I want I barely even read. I barely even turn on my brain as I go to a website. I'm like, oh, okay, is this thing doing what I need it to? What's this? Oh, okay. Yeah, none of these are, oh, thank goodness this one's animated. At least I don't have to actually read anything. And I don't actually have to click the play button to start watching the video because, that would take another 5 seconds and then my short little attention span would be gone. And so the point is like, we really need to put on our marketing hats a bit, or a lot of us still don't know what the heck Meshery does. It's something around Kubernetes, and there's some Docker in there. And apparently these things, which like, I don't know, these things are like, these are big pieces of software themselves. Meshery does a lot. And okay, which makes the job of, and it's only halfway through what it wants to do. It's going to do at least twice as much. Good. This presents an interesting challenge to distill down its core features into a compelling story. There's any number of things that are awesome about this small site. This is a very small site. There are any number of things that are not so great. Okay, here's one that bugs me. There's this ugly mug right up there that like really shouldn't be there. And so we need to re-record this or something similar to this. As a matter of fact, this isn't even the UI for this anymore. The UI is much cooler than this. This is old and ugly. Okay, so this needs to be re-recorded. This is certainly an old UI. The dashboard now is twice as big. And okay, thankfully, that freckle-faced person isn't up there, which is good. Anyway, there's a lot of things to consider. So one of these is like, oh, hey, what are the features? If I want to see that feature matrix again, okay, so yeah, they gotta tell me about the feature. I could go to the docs. I guess that would tell me, but I'm too lazy for that docs, man. That sounds like reading. So contributors, cool. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, well, she looks nice. She must be a nice person. This is disgusting. This is hideous. I'm going to throw up. Like, this is terrible. Nikhil has done us a favor and added some gradient here, which is good. This kind of elevates off the page. Like, there's some nice, there's so much. Oh my goodness, there's so much. Anyway, point is the features here. This is all right. This is not too bad. There's more that we need to do. Like, we don't want to get started on every single one of these pointing to the same place. That's a reflection of my work. No one else's. In terms of, not like, hey, in Meshery docs, there's a performance management area. So there's these big features in Meshery: lifecycle management, configuration management, performance management, and this WebAssembly, these WASM filters. But if I click here, this takes me to getting started on the whole thing. It's like, okay, but I thought you would let me know more about like this feature column. That seems to be intuitive to me. If I wanted to know more about performance management, well, here's the docs. There's a section for functionality. Let me expand this a little bit. Lifecycle management, performance management. We have these other two, pattern management and SMI. If we go back, okay, we have performance management. So we could actually have a link to that page. That sounds like an easy way for someone to get involved in the project. Okay. Good, because that's its own page. Okay. Lifecycle management, that's its own page. Great. Okay, we have two of them. Anyway, point is, we don't have to sit here and go through this whole thing, but the point is like, well, first of all, this features thing is buried in the footer. It's not exposed anywhere else. Oh, okay. I don't know if it belongs up here or not, but it certainly belongs being called out somewhere else. Maybe like right down here where there's a division between, it says see all the rest of the features, maybe. Anyway, there's a lot of things to do in it. Not all of them require design. it is very helpful to keep the designs in Figma or in the same place. Figma doesn't have to always be the tool forever and ever. Right now it is. Part of what I guess what I'm getting into is, Aditya, maybe we can, well, no, I guess your design for a mail template is on Discuss, so never mind. Okay, so sorry to have rambled and digressed, but I was trying to point out some low-hanging fruit that any of us might want to go jump on or make suggestions around. If what I wanted to also convey is a sense of, well, yeah, that you don't have to wait for an issue to be defined by someone else. Anyone here is welcome to open an issue before you spend hours and hours and weeks and days and months working on, the issue. Like, you do want to get, a thumbs up, or you do want to confirm with others in the community that, in fact, your suggestion is desirable. So, okay, on that, next up is Anshu.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yep.
Hello, everyone. Like, this is the issues I made, I think a couple of weeks later. We are 4 folks are working on the same issue. Actually, one task has already fixed. That is the couple community forum point that I added. But the couple of few things or few tasks are, on the way. So what we are going to do here is like, as you can see in the first screenshot, there is a created by Layer5 and its open source community below the Cloud Native Community Foundation. Yeah. So this is not flexible in the mobile view. So we are working on this, and we added a couple of codes there as a @media, if you know about that. And this is gonna fix. If I can share my screen.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Hope it's visible. So actually, I doesn't have that access, Figma access to, but I got that now through Tanuj sir. So now this is flexible to the, I think, in this section. As you can see here now, it's flexible.
Oh, nice.
And it's in the same, but it's in the same issue, same state as well here. What I do here, just a couple of codes of media added. I think this must be taking lead by the Akshat, and he suggested me to add some of the codes here. So it make something as flexible to the mobile view.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, can I take on from here? Yeah. So actually what I did is actually during the mobile view, it got caught that its setting, its display is actually inline flex, which is making that layers image to be a quite a bit different from the text one. So what I did in the mobile view, that I used the @media tag and made its display to the contents, so that it gets aligned with the text which is within it, and makes it align so that it looks like that layers images with that text in among that written there, that created with layers. So it can make it much more flexible in the mobile view. So in that way, I've added that code @media, and also I've made the font size little bit lesser so as to get comparable and flexible in the mobile view.
Nice. Yeah. Did I might have just missed it, but in the footer, the very, very last line in the footer with the 3 independent columns, is that something that is being addressed as well? where it says the Meshery authors proudly representing a code of conduct. I wonder if those shouldn't be stacked vertically in the mobile view.
Okay, I think you're concerned about the footer, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, yep. If you go back to the issue
Yeah.
in the second screenshot on the right-hand side,
Yeah.
the very
Uh,
bottom.
Okay, so this is the another task. What we are working here is in the mobile view. I saw this tutor at the last of the page. So what I gonna do here? We can either fix it as here, if it's possible, like getting started column like here, or we can fix it below these lines, below these sections, like getting started or community sections, or between this line, between these sections, both sections. I have that screenshot with me. Yeah, it seems like this, but it will be aligned to the center, or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Please.
I'll just like to add, like we'll have to maintain consistency among all the sites. So we are generally using it in the footer and for the mobile view. So in the footer section itself, you can stack it at the top. So like when you switch over to the mobile view, it could be on the top in the footer section itself, but we cannot afford it going it above the footer anywhere in other sections, because this is will having the same thing across most of the sites. So
Okay, so we basically want in the mobile view that it is just as it is starting of the mobile view, there should be a tweet section, right?
yeah, like currently it is at the bottom of the footer, but in the mobile view, but in the mobile view it should be on the top of the footer, but it should be in the like footer section only.
Okay, we will work on that also.
Yeah, and what Lee was mentioning, like if you can open the issue as well. Yeah, so after after just after the tweet, you see like there are three different links. So you'll have to these three links should be stacked vertically when presented in the horizontal, when presented in the mobile view. So like currently you are seeing all of this are like horizontally. You can stack it one after another vertically for the mobile view part. So that's the other thing that you can work upon for it.
Okay, so should we have to make a separate issue for it, or we can work on with this only?
Yeah, like it's totally depends on you, like whatever you're flexible with. You can, if you feel that you can it's easier to track it all those things in a single issue, then it would be good. Otherwise you can create another issue as well. Sorry to interrupt, Lee.
Yeah, I would also like to add one more thing over here. Like when I'm opening the Meshery.io site in my mobile, like the menu is being cut off from the whole screen. Like I have sent a screenshot in the chat. So is it something that you're addressing in this issue, or if it is not, then it would be better to do it, I guess.
If you can just share, like if you can show it in the screenshot itself, maybe it would be better.
It's actually working fine when you try to simulate a mobile view experience in Chrome, but
Okay,
literally
okay.
when you're trying to open it in the mobile, then that is happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send a screen recording also in the Slack channel, I guess.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, now
Yeah,
now,
so yeah, Lee, go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry, go ahead. No.
Yeah, like just for that issue's context, you can just create a new issue and work on that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just confirming. I'm sending a screenshot of the Meshery.io website as I see it on my mobile here. I mean, not, and so since no one can see this, I'm gonna say I just sent the screenshot to the website's channel. That's an iPhone XR or something. Anyway, that's Safari on the iPhone. So
Okay, so it may be I think it has something to do with the phone and stuff, I guess.
No, actually, if you go to the website also and view it in the iPhone X view, then the menu gets cut. So like
Okay.
the
No,
media
I
tag,
see.
little,
Actually,
it has to be decreased a little bit because it's not mobile friendly to all the mobiles, because even on my phone it's fine right now because of the bigger screen. But if the screen is smaller, it's getting cut.
actually, I see what's happening. Like the website is originally zoomed in, I guess, a bit, and when I try to zoom it out, it perfectly fits with the screen. I guess that is actually the issue.
No, but even on like Chrome right now, I have the iPhone X view open, so it's
Okay.
the menu is getting cut.
Okay. So that is something we have to.
मैगी नहीं है?
नहीं मैगी बनवानी है
क्या ले? क्या ले?
Cool. Well, good. Yeah, we've got some mobile view issues, and I think your mileage varies depending upon, whether you're using a physical device or a. One thing that I will highlight in part to Nitish's point is that, and so by the way, hey Priyanshu, are you with us today? Priyanshu Gupta?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. And Priyanshu, you introduced, I think, at the last community meeting, if I recall.
Yes, I was there.
Nice. Have you gotten a chance to say hi on this call before?
No, actually, I was listening what was happening.
But yeah, if you don't mind, go just introduce yourself if you would.
Yeah, sure. So hello guys, myself Priyanshu. I'm new in the community, so I was just looking how the calls are going on and how the working is done in the community.
Nice. Yeah, with lots of sarcasm. I think that's the answer. That's how it's done. Cool. Nice to have you, Priyanshu.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, very good. You know, there's just a little bit of background noise on your line, and so yep, you're muted. So one of the things that Nitish was just highlighting that seems to also be an issue. It's kind of bugged me for a long time, but check out the space here. Ugh. Boy, that's unnecessary.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Good. All right. Well, we're over to the next generation of the learning section on Layer 5 IO. So Nitish and Nikhil have been focused in this area. And so Nitish?
Yeah, I will just share my screen and okay, so I've been working on this sidebar component that is supposed to help us with navigating between the courses. Like if you have some 50 or let's say we have 50 courses, then it will not be very intuitive for the user to scroll through them and find the course. So we have created, like I have been working on this component for like navigating between the courses. Like when you click over here, like it will take you to the particular section of this page which has this division, which would actually take you to the course page. Yeah, so this is what I was working on, but overall looking at the new generation layer, so I mean layer 5 learn side, like I guess it's pretty complete with this. So we'll just have to, like, this terminal is being worked upon by there is a small issue, and it still needs to be resolved, and the person who's working on it, I guess he had some exams and he was quite busy. He told that he would finish it as soon as possible, so that is something that's still remaining. So apart from that, from what I see, like I guess this thing looks pretty complete. So one more thing is that here we should be adding the component to switch between the service meshes. That is I guess that's something that has to be worked upon. Other than that, I guess it's looking great.
Yeah. I was just going to ask about that component to switch back and forth between
Yeah.
types of meshes, but good.
So if I think Nikhil would like he can continue from here. Like he has been also working on adding some courses to this thing as well. So yeah, I'll let him share the screen right now. I'll let him take on.
You can keep sharing the screen, no problem.
Okay.
So the thing is, the service mesh switcher is being worked upon by Bami. She is working on that issue. She had some issue with the laptop, so she has not been able to send out the PR yet. But I've had a chat with her on Slack, and she said that she was working on it. So yeah, we have. And apart from that, the another course which is Advanced Service Mesh for HTO is being added by one of the contributors. So we will have 3 courses all over ready at LearnNG in total once that's done. And once we have a service mesh switcher, we will be able to actually switch between HTO and Linkerd for one of the courses. But one issue that we are facing right now, Lee, is for the Linkerd course, the chapter names are a bit different compared to what we have for HTO. And that will, like, I have a solution for that, but I'm not sure. I think it can be implemented. Like, I won't say it won't be, it can't be, but it will break the flow that we are intending to have. Because currently, if the chapter names become different, then what I was thinking is when the user will switch to a different service mesh, apart from a default one, it will take the user to the beginning of the course. That is the first chapter. You can do that to make the default. But if we keep the chapter name same, then simply changing the path or the service mesh would help.
Yeah, right. For that Linkerd course, or do we have that on up here now?
Yeah, we have the course, but it's not visible directly because we don't have the session. But on changing the path to the URL itself, we'll be able to navigate it.
Okay, my sense is that we will be able to change the course to fit the framework that we've designed, kind of the architecture that we've designed. Because we do desire for it to be uniform, across, like if there's an introduction to service meshes and mastering service meshes, the ideal is that you can walk through either of those 2 learning paths with, each path having individual courses, each course having individual labs, or, and that you can choose between whether you want to walk through that with Linkerd, console, Istio. And so without saying it, I'm pretty sure that we can rework the Linkerd content to be. So, by the way, just to clarify, to make sure, Nikhil, that we're thinking of it in the same way, is that the content for, like, if you're taking the learning path, mastering a service mesh, and you start down that path, and maybe it has 3 courses inside of it. Each course has 10 labs or something like that. Okay, good. You start off with, you go to the page. Maybe it's on console as the service mesh. That if you switch to Linkerd for that same learning path, but you switch to a different service mesh, that it's not guaranteed that you would end up having the same 3 courses with 10 labs apiece. You might end up just having 2 courses with 9 labs apiece. Like, the content might be
different for different service meshes.
Yeah, and that's okay, right? Like, that fits into the model that we have.
That will, so in that case, like, as I said, because generally considering that, what will happen is, if the user actually wants to pursue some other service mesh, then he or she would start from the beginning itself and won't switch at some of the chapters in between. So ideally that should be the case and we won't be facing it. But if suppose the user shifts in between, like suppose of the 10th chapter of a particular service mesh, and we have only 9th chapter for other service mesh, then he might get a page not found or service like 404 error.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Now I see what you're saying, which is,
Or we can have a fallback mechanism that can be hard coded, which is to rewrite the user to the beginning of the chapter or course using that particular service.
cool. Yeah, it does sound like for sure we would want to have that catch-all that takes people over to the start of the course. It's ideal, and I think that we will strive, like once the path and the course has been written for one type of mesh, ideally we're keeping the same structure for the other meshes. The challenge can become that, well, like one of, like, for example, Kuma or Linkerd doesn't actually have an ingress or an egress gateway. And so whereas the rest of the meshes do. So if someone was studying ingress gateway and they click to switch to Linkerd, it would be like, well, yeah, you have to go to the top. Like we don't know where to send you. So to your point, you probably have to go to the start of the Linkerd course.
Or we can, like, we will have to map the chapters based on the index number, basically on the ordering of the chapters that we have. Like chapter 4 of Linkerd can be Jaeger and other dashboard that we have, while chapter 4 for Istio can be the Grafana, Prometheus, or like that. We can basically map it using the index value instead of directly mapping using the chapter. That might complicate things a bit, but that is a way of fixing things if we have that kind of problem.
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, we might be trying to make it too nice, or we might be making it harder on ourselves than we need to. I don't know that people would be turned away if, like, actually, it just as an example, like, and it's healthy to. So for some of you, you've never seen what's being shown right now. I want to give brief context, and we do want to get to Aditya's and Anita's. So the brief context here is like, if by the way, most people in the world, don't know service meshes, but they will, and it'll take a long time. It'll take a decade or more, and so people are going to be learning this stuff for a long time, and right now, the Layer5 IO site, there's a /learn that if you go to, it has books, interactive labs, and workshops. Great. Soon, it will also have a fourth category of learning called learning paths. And that's what we were just looking at is learning paths. And that's a journey that people can, go on and study and go through labs and a bunch of, and actually at the end of which will be assigning credential, or people will be badged. Like we'll have a quiz. We'll kind of go through a process in which people will receive a certificate. And by the way, that's actually open to us to generate and send certificates through the CNCF now, through credly.com. So that's a point of interest. Okay, but the reason I said this is that and so as we built out these learning paths and the framework for the site, we've are being inspired from and reusing Storybook.js. Like there's a excuse me, there's a tutorials site, and we're using these same components that they have been. So I wanted to, so then you drop into a learning path, and that learning path has 9 sections. As you go into a section, it says, well, what framework did you want to study? Design systems for developers. well, React is the only framework that seems to be available in this case. Okay, what if I want to get started with Storybook as a capability? Okay, well, you can use, and so the thing that I wanted to see is if you go to like add-ons, maybe, or like any other, yeah, and you, okay, wait, see that owl down there, whatever that is in the frameworks? If you,
That's actually the language dropdown. Like people can switch to a different language.
okay, if you click on testing or deploy, what I'm trying to figure out is whether or not, even for this example that we've been borrowing from, whether or not they support, whether or not the number of labs or courses changes for them.
Okay, actually, when you see like they have provided this functionality only for those things which are totally compatible with this, I guess. So when you go to a different course, then they don't even give you the opportunity to switch between the frameworks. So I guess what they have done is that they have given this option only if we have if the all courses are compatible with everything, you know what I mean.
Yeah, the other thing we could do, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know, gosh, Nikhil, I don't know that I could, that forming a hard opinion at the moment is the right thing. Like it is also possible that we say, look, we want for the learning path to be consistent across whatever mesh you're going to use. And so if that mesh doesn't, if there isn't the content for this particular area, like add-ons or gateways for the mesh, the framework that you're going to switch to, then you see a page that says content unavailable for this service mesh, etc. Continue to the next step. Like that could be a way as well, so that they don't get redirected to the top. They kind of stay. So, anyway, I guess we would get, as we go along in developing the courses, we'll form a harder opinion, a stronger opinion.
Yep, that's what I was also looking like. If we have all the courses ready, then we could have a better idea as to how this thing looks, and we can plan out something with that.
Also, Lee, we only have 3 courses right now, right? Introduction to S2, Advanced S2, and Introduction to LinkedIn.
Does anybody? Yeah, so it's about time to, so we need some content, right? So it's about time to build out some of the rest of those. Now, well, so I hesitate to say this next thing, like, is, so there's, I have a lot of that content. I don't know if any of you, well, yeah, you guys did. Okay, and so Nikhil, this probably is the thing, is like, I need to go get the content that I have and make it, put it into a consumable format so that the community, so that people on the call, the community here can create those learning paths, like for the, create those other learning paths.
Okay.
Is anybody interested in that, in like creating a new learning path? If you're here to learn about service meshes, that's a great way of learning about them. If you're helping create the course itself, think about it. Maybe have a look at Layer5io/learn-ng. And if creating a new learning path interests you, there's content for it. The labs are kind of there, but they're not as, but yeah. Anyway, let me know. So, okay, good. Thanks for that. We should go to the next topic if we can. Nitish, I agree. Like I think the only thing that's preventing us from publishing this, Nitish, is it's potentially two things. One is if you go to the landing page for the learning paths, it is currently done in accordance with the Figma designs. And I've long said they are terrible. This is terrible.
Yeah.
And so
I guess we settled on this thing that once we get the full functionality, like this thing fully functional, then we decided to work on styling of this thing, I guess. So I guess it's time to start working on that, right?
yeah.
Because it's almost done.
So other than Ballroom, anyone else here fancy themselves a visual designer? Or
Yeah, I can do that if you want to. Yeah.
Ballroom. Okay, yeah, good.
So are these on that Figma file that is shared, or it is in new one?
Yep, they're in the Layer5 Figma file under. Boy, Zoom is in my way. Under Layer5 designs, under section learning paths rather. There's actually quite a few designs that have gone through over time. So these are, the layout is all right. I mean, this was just a placeholder. It was never intended to be used. The colors, these are part of our color scheme, but that's not, these are call to action things. These are not like, so, okay. A lighter version, this can work. This is, pretty, a little more subtle.
But it is so descriptive. The content in the card is so much, so people will tend not to read that much, because mostly they are lazy and they only see the content, what it provides. The less we write, the better it would be.
One thing to, Ballroom, as you look at that, one thing to potentially do is look at what we've been inspired from, and that is learn.hashicorp.com. So let me share the rest of the screen. So they've changed their site quite a bit, which is kind of interesting. When you go, they've changed this in the last month. When you go, they actually, to me, this looks like their footer so much that I actually think this is their footer. And the only way to get into their learning paths is to search, but that's not actually it. This is actually not the footer. This is like, if you want to go study console, you click here, and then it drops into their learning paths. And so you can see like there's not that much use of color, at least here, and it looks pretty good. It's clean. So this is a great. I mean, HashiCorp has always done great UX. So this is something to be inspired from in terms of like what we would have on the landing page, for sure.
Yeah, they have used card very well. This glassy effect on the card is so amazing.
Okay, very good. I'm just noting the time. I'm going to move to the next topic. So, Devapriya, you've been, and I'm going to mute you if I can, just because of the background noise. Devapriya, I don't know if you want to, if I can put you on the spot.
Yeah, so I was working on the community members page. I took way more time than I expected to, but it's finally up and running now. It just got merged sometime back today. So you can check that out in the main website now. I hope that's fine. Okay. I don't know why that's happening because it's working fine on my device.
Wait, don't give Nikhil Lada an excuse to say anything about Safari. No, just a second. So I'm in Safari. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah. It's a Safari problem. It's a Safari problem.
I hope so.
No, no, it isn't Safari problem. I just checked.
I'm
from
never
my
wrong. I told you don't use Safari, but you keep on using that.
Now, is it a Safari problem, or like, is it a, software engineering, like bug in the code type problem? Like, like really, is it Safari's issue? Or, oh, hey, ooh, sexy. Cool. Wow, this is cool. Look at this. By the way, if you don't know this, there are badges to collect here, I guess is a way of saying it. Uh-oh. No badges yet. We'll have to, I'm no doubt Aditya will have that changed at some soon. So one badge, and we should talk about this probably another time. Actually, someone, oh my goodness, no badges here either. We should talk about this on like Discuss or something. Let's see, Asuko. So Asuko has the Meshri badge. Asuko is a Meshri maintainer. Okay, so that's what he works on, okay? This guy is, well, just completed his full-time employment at Layer5. So he's actually moving over to the US to study not too far away from where I live. So he's worked basically on all of the anyway, point is, so thank you, Devapriya, that you're allowing people to filter now. So who has the, Vinayak and Abhishek? Wow, this is an exclusive club, I guess. Community, good. Yeah, a lot of people here helping. Now, Devapriya, if you were looking for a challenge, not that this is not our most important thing, but what if I wanted to see folks that are focused on community and that are currently active? Food for thought. Ooh, maintainers. Oh, super nerds, I guess. This guy's got a big forehead. He must be a nerd. Must be smart. Okay, anyway, all right, good. Devapriya, thank you for that. This is great. This looks awesome. It's really cool.
I think we'll have to do we'll have to add the appropriate information for all of the members. Like we'll have to refactor once. Maybe I can, I'll contact with Anita and we'll fix it soon.
Thank you. And maybe we'll have a look at Safari as well.
Okay, I'll check that out once.
Okay. Oh my goodness, we're 5 minutes after, but very briefly, Leonard, do you want to talk about your item that you've been working on?
Hi everyone.
Hello.
I don't know if my environment is calm. I'm actually outside. Can anyone hear me?
Yep, you're audible. Barely.
Okay, so I've actually worked on the discussion, the color section for discussion forum, but I guess from what I was told on GitHub that it needs to be changed. Like the color section needs to have a different grade on its own, which I don't know if that's quite feasible. And why, so to me, it seems redundant, but I was hoping I'll work on that today to make it like that. But Lee, can you please click on the next filing so everyone have to take a look and see if which is better, having it large like that or having two links in one of the grades. Yes, having it like this or having it differently. I don't know. I thought this might be better, but I'm open to suggestions. I could work it to have two different sections. And that issue would be where it's like I want to know where it's better placed. If I can't do like this, where will it be better placed as well? So because putting it on that will make it so large for both. So I don't know if there's a suggestion. I would like feedback so I will fix it. Hopefully it gets made.
Good. So Leonard has a question for all of the rest of you about getting feedback on the pull request that he has open. So the pull request is adding a call out to let visitors know that there's a discussion forum. And it's at discuss.layer5.io. This forum is relatively new and doesn't have, and I hope it's up. And we don't have that many links from the main Layer5 IO pointing to this forum. So Leonard is working to have a call out that says, hey, join us in our discussion forum. And his question for all of you is for feedback on the approach. So there's a call out to join the community currently. And there's a single button in there about joining the Slack. And so Leonard's current approach is to augment that existing call out to join the community with sort of a second button and a little more language here to go, join us on the discussion forum as well. Anyone have feedback? And so part of the feedback that's been given to Leonard is that I think the ask had been more that there was a new call out, a separate call out, one for community, one for discussion forum. And so, but he's looking for feedback and others' thoughts. Anybody have thoughts or suggestions here?
Yeah, so maybe we can if you can have an preview for both of those buttons stacked horizontally, like one beside the other, and we reduce down the text to just either the talented Slack community and the trending discussion forum or something. Like we remove the joiner and we shorten the button's length, and then we have both those buttons in a single row. Then maybe we can think of it as if it's a better option.
Please let me retrace. I should reduce the button size, and should I make it horizontal or should it be in this format right now, stacked on top of each other, or should I separate them, make it flex them horizontally?
Yeah.
Okay, I should flex them horizontally and reduce the length of the button.
Yeah, if you can keep those both in a single flex, then it's just an suggestion. If it looks good, then we can have that as well. But yeah.
Is that all? Is there any other person that thinks otherwise before I go working on the issue?
I don't understand if there was any question.
Oh yeah, he was just saying, hey, he was just asking, does anyone else have an opinion?
Okay, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Anybody else have feedback? Leonard? I do. I'm full of opinions. And that is that I think I would start in this sequence. There's kind of three things I would say. One is I would say, irrespective of whether or not we have a single section that calls them both out, we are still desirous of and still need a call out individually and specifically for the discussion forum. So that request still stands as is. If this PR merges and closes the original issue, that's okay. We need to reopen a new issue and have a separate dedicated call out just for the discussion forum. Two, I would say exactly what Josh said, which is don't repeat yourself. join our talented community. Like we don't do that. Also join the community. Like, yeah, I don't know. Are you joining the community by engaging in the discussion forum? Yeah, but like most of the text is about the first call out, the first button, not the second one. And that can be tweaked a little bit. The fact that it's stacked right now, yeah, if it's in a flex and you squish things down and they need to stack, okay, but there's a lack of margin underneath the bottom button, and it doesn't look good. The text is already arguably too long on the button in the first place. Join our talented Slack community. Also, it's kind of funny wording in the first place, like what's talented? So people in our community are talented with Slack. Okay, well, that's good. At least they're chatty, or I guess. So like, I mean, so Leonard, so there's some improvement on the existing. We first of all, we want to keep the existing one as is so that we can have just a call out to join the community. We want to have a separate discussion forum call out just dedicated to the discussion forum and using something other than the background image that's there. First of all, we want to avoid any pictures with me in it, which is like, there's just too many of those. And that way we actually, like, it's good that we have these in our arsenal, if you will, if we have these as components that we can put onto different pages. It doesn't hurt to also have one that you're describing, which is like both of the call outs in the same section, same component, but it needs to be rewritten and redesigned.
Okay, one last, sorry, I don't know if you're done, but one last question. So should I place it underneath this one, or where is it? Should I place, if I eventually I make another box for discussion forum, where should I place it? Where should I place it?
Yeah, on the site itself, you mean? Where should you place it?
Yes, like the box for the trending, like the Slack, joining the Slack community, the call out box. If I do for the community, where is it feasible? Where would it look good to place it? Should I still place it under this one that is close to the footer? Or is there some place you feel would be better for me to place it to make it look nice?
Yeah. Oh, Leonard, it's difficult to hear you. So I think one of the questions that you're asking.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
It's a little bit better. Let me answer two questions in one, which is, one question is, if you have the call out, like where, on what pages and in what sections should that call out be integrated? Is that your question? Yep. So there's a few places to potentially put it. And I'm thinking, like one of those is potentially on the blog over here is people might look for interesting articles and to learn things. And there's extra space, like there's an extra section that we can have for a small, join us on the discussion forum. You know, it's a little advert, like that's more or less what we're looking to do is put adverts for people to, like, it would be here's the frequently asked questions. Okay. Looking at this, oh, didn't find an answer to your question, ask us, let us know. If I click, let us know, where is it? Okay, there's a contact form. Okay, that's good. Also, it could be like, you know, like this could be slid over to the left, and on the right-hand side could be a call out saying, you know, ask your question on the discussion forum, like that would work. There's a bunch of places potentially. So yeah, so we should write some of that down, put it into the issue so that it's a bit more clear. Cool. We are well over time. Leonard, it's good work, man. I hope that this helps.
I think we should like add the remaining agendas for the next meeting.
Makes sense.
Like, sorry, Aditya, we were like almost to you, but your PR would get merged. Like, Lee, just have a look at the SMP repo. I already approved the PR, so you can just merge it after the meeting itself.
Nice.
Yeah.
Josh, anything else that we should, maybe we'll follow up on these in Slack until we
Yeah.
meet next week.
So yeah, the slides maintenance, I'll do it, and I'll follow up on Slack on the channel or either on personal message itself.
Good deal.
Yeah, so if anyone's topic got left out, then you can add it into the next meeting. So sorry, we have too much of contributions and we don't have much time to discuss. Maybe that's the issue, and that's a good sign as well. So I would like to wrap up the meeting for now. I'd like to thank everyone to join, and we'll see you all next week or this week itself if you are engaged into some other things as well. So yeah, thank you all. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you, Josh.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.